Indie games are a blessing to us gamers, but as much as I'd like to think that everyone and their mother has heard of or played Celeste, that often just isn't the case. That doesn't mean I'll ever stop talking about it. I mean, obviously. But I want to dedicate this video to some games that have gone a little more under the radar. From niche genres and markets to a huge difference in advertising budgets, indie games generally have a much smaller reach than AAA releases. With the expansion of PC gaming and digital shops on consoles, new indie games now have much better chances at finding a passionate fanbase of their own, with some even becoming industry icons like Cuphead and Shovel Knight. However, the sad truth is that many of them don't get anywhere near the attention they deserve. So today, I want to switch things up a bit and give some attention to games that I think are worth your time that aren't talked about quite as much as the more well-known indies in the scene. Real quick before we get started here, I just flew in from checking my YouTube analytics and boy are my arms tired. From wiping my damn tears, that is, since less than 30% of you are subscribed. I mean, I know it's probably because of the damn JoJo tier list, but still, if you end up enjoying the video, consider subscribing. Now let's get to the first game. Okay, so this is like super underground, right? No one's played it, it's not even made by a AAA publisher, which is a bit weird. It's called Undertale, and the cool thing is you don't actually have to kill any of the monsters. What if baseball was a little bit more interesting? It's no secret that I absolutely adore Lethal League Blaze. If you look up Lethal League Blaze on YouTube, I'm right there and right there. While it may seem like a Jet Set Radio-inspired party game at first glance, Lethal League Blaze is an incredibly innovative and complex fighting game. I tend to avoid most fighting games since my little baby brain can't handle toxicity and competitiveness, but that didn't stop me from dumping over 80 hours into this one, and it might just be my favorite fighting game ever. Lethal League doesn't force you to memorize insane combo strings and instead implements the mechanical depth, mix-ups, and mind games of the genre in a wholly unique way. Instead of just fighting each other like barbarians, fist to fist or weapon to weapon, you try to hit each other with a giant ball. The catch is that the ball bounces around the room at ludicrous speeds and you basically have to play mental rock paper scissors with each hit. You can hit the ball in a variety of different directions, each character has unique angles and a special ability, and in the span of like 1 second while charging a hit, your brain goes, oh man, is he gonna try to steal it? Maybe I should parry. But if I parry, he could grab. That is, unless I cancel the parry early, but he could bunt if I do that. Oh shit, oh fuck. On top of Lethal League Blaze being fun as hell, pure funky energy is what this game does best. The glow up this sequel had upon going from pixel art to cel-shaded 3D was glorious. Each character is exploding with style. The soundtrack goes all over the place with its assortment of electronic artists, and the maps all feel unique, even though they only differ in width and ceiling height. Now, if you've seen my other Lethal League videos, you may be wondering why I chose to talk about this game for a third time instead of giving the spotlight to something new. It's because making an indie fighting game is hard. It's probably one of the hardest genres, if not the hardest genre to break into, because without a roster of famous characters, an already dedicated fan base, or a massive advertising budget, it's hard to reach the audience you need to keep a fighting game alive. Some can't find enough players to stay active, or just get called a Smash clone at first glance for being a platform fighter. What I'm saying is, I wish Lethal League Blaze was the biggest fighting game ever. Despite the hurdles it faces, Lethal League has managed to maintain a small but dedicated community of passionate players. The only reason I was able to make my original guide was because I met high-ranked players and mods on the Team Reptile Discord that were nice enough to help me out with the intricacies and details. If you're willing to go a little out of the way to learn the mechanics and find people to play with, which, let's be honest, you kinda have to do with any fighting game, Lethal League Blaze does not disappoint, and I'm sure the community would appreciate a new player. The developers continue to hold tournaments and events while updating the game with new ranked seasons, characters, and DLC skins. Basically, don't forget about Lethal League Blaze. I love it so much. Every time I bust it open and play a few matches, I get my ass absolutely blasted in ranked, but I love it all the same. Whether playing competitively in a 1v1 or in a hectic screaming match with 3 friends, hitting a ball so hard you warp space-time is always satisfying as hell.
Are you ready?
Boom, boys.
Boom, boys.
All right, mates, let's have a rough and tumble match.
Oh my
Ah!
Have you ever wondered if there was a video game that perfectly captured the tension and skill of a cooking show like MasterChef, but instead of the ingredients being provided for you in a kitchen, you had to go out back and kill wild monsters? And to cook the food, you have to play a match 3 puzzle game inside each pan? No? Just me? I know it sounds weird, and Battle Chef Brigade is weird, but in a good way. Despite being published by Adult Swim Games, I didn't see this game get much publicity at all upon release in 2017. They did send me this chef's apron though, which is pretty cool, I gotta admit. And man, it's a shame that this game didn't get much attention, because Battle Chef Brigade is a standout in the cooking game genre. I mean, not too much competition, but still. As I've already mentioned, the game takes a myriad of gameplay styles and melds them into a super intense cooking experience. In each cook-off, you'll be given a main ingredient and must make several dishes to the taste preferences of each judge within the time limit. Running out into the wild to kill monsters switches the gameplay into a beat 'em up with cool combos and character-specific abilities, but then you gotta run the ingredients back in and throw them on the stove in strategically equipped pots and pans. Each ingredient is a different assortment of colored pieces, so some cookery can match 2 instead of 3 but only 1 color, or match 4 but double upgrade, because yeah, cooking in this game is a match 3 puzzle. I know I said it already, but I figured I should probably say it again. It may sound like this gameplay could get repetitive, but there are plenty of new features Battle Chef Brigade throws your way to keep things interesting, and instead of trying to explain it from scratch, I might as well just use this perfect clip from the review I made back in 2018. Now the match 3 tiles break and there's bones in your food that turn into rainbow orbs, and there's also different kinds of pots and pans, and you can play mini games to buy them, and there's also 3 judges that ask for multiple ingredients. Also make sure not to include any poison, and oh yeah, your next main ingredient is a fucking dragon. Oh shit. Aw, look at little me gushing about indie games 2 years ago. Not much has changed, honestly. Battle Chef Brigade has a cute cast of characters and boasts a wonderful hand-drawn art style that makes you feel like you're playing through an animated movie. The characters and their fighting animations look great, and the sketched out watercolor backgrounds add a unique feeling to all of the environments. As complicated as it all sounds, there's not much else to say about Battle Chef Brigade. It's just a simple, comfy experience that I wish more people knew about, so now that it's in 2 of my videos, I can rest a bit easier. I also just really appreciate the review I found that says, turns out the lamb sauce was the friends we made along the way. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, next up is the hiddenest gem out of all the hidden gems I've ever found. I don't even remember how I found this game, to be honest, and after scouring the internet, I was only able to find a few related articles next to 0 YouTube coverage and only 45 reviews on its Steam page, one of which is mine. The game I'm talking about is Nowhere Patrol. Early access games are a dime a dozen nowadays, and with all the subpar titles that find their time in the spotlight, it's a damn shame Nowhere Patrol went completely under the radar as a finished release. I know I called Battle Chef Brigade's lack of popularity a shame, but this one is a damn shame. It's different. Nowhere Patrol is a boss rush platformer heavily inspired by Bullet Hell's arcade-style game design and old-school graphics and music. And yes, I know I could kick things off by saying, it's like Cuphead, but if it were on a Sega Genesis! But I think there's a lot that sets it apart from Cuphead, and I'm also trying to move away from just calling games X but Y. In Nowhere Patrol, your character and weapon choices are locked in from the start. Initially, you can choose from one of 2 characters and one of 2 weapons. A third character and his weapon unlock after beating the final boss, and the other weapons can be unlocked by not getting hit in fights. Each character has 2 special abilities which will slowly charge on their own, but can be charged much faster by performing a staple of the bullet hell genre, bullet grazing. While the only movement options are run, jump, and dash, being able to dash away from or through point-blank attacks or hang near them to gain special charge rewards skilled play, and adds even more replayability to a game designed in an arcade format. Each boss is animated with super smooth pixel art and is a joy to fight against. Some transform multiple times, and each one has different attack phases and requires super precise dashes or platforming. There are even a few levels near the end that offer a nice change of pace by switching to a more traditional side-scrolling shoot-'em-up format. Nowhere Patrol's main mode, Boss Rush, is designed in an arcade format in the sense that you're meant to play through the entire game in one go. There are 11 unique bosses in the game, which makes subsequent playthroughs fun and rewarding once you've learned all the attack patterns, but Boss Rush also contains a singular glaring flaw. There's no save feature at all. On the first playthrough, this game is tough as nails. It's frustrating as hell. Each boss has more phases than the last. You start off thinking, oh, okay, this Bell dude is gonna have 3 phases. Oh, 4th phase, okay, I can do that. All right, I got him. And now I'm fighting the floor. The floor is the boss now. The final boss has like 9 or 10 phases. I don't know. I lost count once the final screen started happening and all I could hear was no quick save feature meant I had to leave the game running for most of the day while I took breaks after getting stuck on certain bosses. My final clear time was around 3 hours, which is pretty rough to force a player through without being able to exit the game. What the fuck? However, after clearing it, I was rewarded with the secret unlockable character, Murky. He does stupid amounts of damage with his special ability, but he also falls from the sky and face plants onto the ground at the start of each level, which immediately reduces him to 1 health. In every fight. You know, if I ever start feeling like I hate the universe more than normal, I'll be sure to come back and play as this guy. While a save feature would be an incredibly useful addition for new players, as it seems only 12% of people have even finished the game, it's literally my only problem with an otherwise insanely polished title that I'm gonna start recommending to everyone. If you own a computer, go buy Nowhere Patrol, like, right now. It's an absolute no-brainer of a purchase at its price tag of $5. Yes, $5. You probably didn't see that one coming, did you? We got a deal alert over here. What's better than 1 boss rush game? Well, 2 boss rush games, of course. Furi is a game about really hard boss fights and nothing but boss fights. There's no other gameplay muddled in between, and for a game like this, that's just how I like it. Like Nowhere Patrol, it'll kick your ass whether you're ready for it or not, and I'd only recommend Furi if your brain can detect that the boss wielding a sword becomes more dangerous when he decides to pick up the canoe paddle. Initially, I wasn't sure if Furi warranted an entire segment in this video, but I decided to include it on this list after getting so invested that I finished my entire playthrough in 1 sitting. Were my thumbs happy about going nuts for 5 hours straight? No, but my brain was moving at 1,000,000 miles an hour because there's just something so special about a game filled with uniquely designed and increasingly difficult boss fights. And don't worry, Furi rightfully claims its spot in the oops all boss battles section of the cereal aisle. While I'm gonna try to spoil as little of Furi's mysterious story as possible, I think the way in which the fights are paced and organized really help the game stand out. Running them back to back Nowhere Patrol style would be a nightmare, so Furi weaves little chunks of lore in between each fight. In each of these little cutscenes, you learn a bit more about the space prison your character is trying to escape. The walks only last for a few minutes, but are a perfect cooldown in between each battle that let you process what you just accomplished and steel yourself for whatever's coming next. You're initially presented with an easy goal: escape the prison you've just woken up in. You don't want to be tortured for all eternity, right? And this jailer guy, he just seems mean. However, as you continue on and the bosses get harder, questions start to pop up in your head about why your character has been locked up in a maximum security prison guarded by unique bosses in the first place. But enough about story. This isn't a game about being friends with bosses. Well, I mean, except for the one ending. This game is about boss fights. Furi's gameplay is action-packed with a mix between close quarters combat and ranged bullet hell battles. Each boss has multiple phases where their attack patterns change, requiring you to frequently learn parrying rhythms which are super satisfying to pull off with a little practice. If the enemy decides to back up or fly off the stage, you then have to shoot your little pistol at them while dodging a barrage of bullets. While Furi's combat options are fairly limited, it's not at all a drawback. It's a game that's easy to learn but hard to master, and instead Instead of providing tons of weapons or skills to choose from, it instead makes sure you fully utilize everything at your disposal and designs bosses with this concept in mind. You're given a very basic skill set, and the game says, ha, good luck. One of the main selling points of Furi is definitely its soundtrack. Like Lethal League Blaze, the soundtrack is composed by a collection of EDM artists, resulting in blood-pumping, high-octane songs that are a perfect fit for Furi's cyberpunk action. Even if you've never heard of Furi, you might have heard its most popular song, which sounds like this. Yeah, see, I know you've heard it. If you aren't afraid of, well, the usual phrase here is a little challenge, but for the case of Furi, it might be considered a big challenge. So like I said at the very beginning, if you're looking for a game that gets your heart beating fast and your senses turned up to an 11, consider giving Furi a shot. There's a harder difficulty that unlocks after you clear the normal game, which I haven't even tried yet, but I might tackle soon. I feel like I'm noticing a trend in my video game habits nowadays. Just a constant search for painful levels of difficulty. So if you want to potentially see me play that along with tons of other games, follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/yakkocmn, link in the description. Hope to see you there sometime. You motherfuckers already forgot about Lethal League Blaze, didn't you? Don't forget! Don't forget! Alright, last one. Time to go out with a bang. While watching the Game Awards with some friends in 2018, a particular reveal trailer caught my eye upon seeing the developer Sumogo. None of my friends had any idea why I was so excited, but it's because I fondly remember the creativity of their games back in the early days of mobile gaming. You know, before the dawn of nothing but microtransactions. They pushed the boundaries of the platform with cute titles like Beat Sneak Bandit and much more intricate and artistic endeavors like Year Walk and Device 6. To see Sumogo's name after nearly 5 years without a release was really surprising, and their newest game, Sayonara Wild Hearts, gets my highest honor, because I can say, without a doubt, it filled me with childlike wonder. Ooh, I said it again. It was there on the monitor the whole time. Sayonara Wild Hearts is a journey like no other. After playing the whole thing in one sitting, I can confidently say that I have absolutely no idea what I played, but it was fucking incredible. Also, this playing an entire game in one sitting thing seems to be a recurring theme. After clearing the game, I immediately went back and replayed every song until I had a gold rank and all the hidden coins, and I still have absolutely no idea what I played. Officially, Sayonara Wild Hearts is described as a pop album video game, which is honestly a good description since anything more specific would be incorrect or doing Sumogo a disservice. I went in with no knowledge outside of what I saw in the reveal trailer, so I assumed it was a rhythm game. I'm a huge fan of the rhythm game genre, but I also find that my perfectionism causes me to become disgruntled when playing. I tend to shoot for full combos and perfect scores even as the difficulty ramps up, but while most rhythm games have you pressing buttons in time with the music, Sayonara Wild Hearts can be best described as playing literally along to the music. It's not particularly difficult, but it doesn't need to be. It takes so many ideas and concepts that could be fleshed out into entire levels and just teases you with them for a few seconds, then sweeps you right off your damn feet again with something new while your jaw is still hanging open. I'd call it a motorcycle action game, but by the time I'm done saying that, I'll have already jumped off the motorcycle, skateboarded in space to Clair to Lune, hopped back on the motorcycle to fight a giant wolf mech, rode on the devil's vomit, and finished it off by kissing a dragon. There's legitimately a segment in the final song where you grind on rails for exactly 5 seconds, and it's never used anywhere else. My one brain cell went, what? Sonic Adventure 2 grinding? And it's over. Also, yes, you get to kiss a dragon, so I think that's a pretty hard sell if nothing else has enticed you so far. Everything is so fantastically paced and timed to the music without feeling exhausting. Wild Hearts takes all the designs and mechanical ideas from speed-based minigames and merges them into a musical wonderland. Wonderland. I'm getting flowery with my language because I don't think it's possible to describe this experience without sounding slightly pretentious. I feel like this game just showed up, gave me a big ol' smooch, and told me to enjoy the ride. It was so good that I wired up my computer to my TV just to get my parents who don't play video games to try it, and also so I could play it on the TV afterwards. My journey through Sayonara Wild Hearts provided everything I never knew I needed for a perfect casual game. It didn't have a heavy story, crazy difficulty spikes, or convoluted mechanics. In fact, it literally doesn't explain a single control scheme through its constantly shifting and evolving stages. It's built so masterfully that every mechanic comes naturally as you jump, sail, fly, fight, and ride through breathtaking levels that seem so painstakingly crafted despite the fact that you're whizzing through them at high speeds. Maybe saying this about a game studio and not someone I know personally is a bit strange, but I feel so proud of Samogo and how far they've come as developers. This is my strongest recommendation on this list. I literally don't have a single issue with this game other than the fact that it ended. I feel like I didn't say much about the soundtrack despite how incredibly catchy and immersive it is, and that's because the music is basically the game itself. It defines the identity of Sayonara Wild Hearts and truly makes it into the description of a pop album video game. You drive across a falling bridge during the bridge of a song. If I'm being honest, I'm tempted. I might just do it. I just might. Yeah, fuck it. Who am I kidding? I'll buy the soundtrack on vinyl. And so the ending approaches. I could ramble about indie games for hours, but I'm only one man and I have other videos to make. While I think Sayonara Wild Hearts is a perfect one to end off on, there are so many games I'd love to talk about that I've decided to end this video with a round of honorable mentions. So buckle up, because we're about to speedrun some reviews. Rivals of Aether, it's just a really good platform fighter with a cool pixel art style. Blazing Beaks, imagine a roguelike but the item pickups fucking hurt you and make the game miserable. Also, you play as birds, which is the best part, but the game's fucking hard as shit, dude. The Messenger, I'll hopefully talk about this one more in depth in a future video, but an 8-bit game that starts out like Ninja Gaiden but then turns into a Metroidvania where you jump through portals that switch the whole game to 16-bit? Ooh! Ori and the Will of the Wisps is by no means an underrated indie game, but god if I don't adore it so much I could slam my head right into my desk. Ow, that one actually hurt. Valhalla, it's a really good cyberpunk visual novel with a hint of bartending simulator, but good luck trying to type the name into the store page if you want to buy it. Touhou Luna Nights. What if Metroidvania, but Touhou? Wait, that means it has Touhou music. Alright, that's just about all the energy I have for now, but let me know in the comments if you'd like to see me do another video like this in the future, or if you know of any other hidden indie gems that deserve some more love. Also, consider checking out my Patreon if you'd like to support my work. I've got monthly behind the scenes videos where I talk about games I've played and my editing process, end screen credits and shoutouts, and exclusive Discord chat rooms. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I have just one more game to show you. I didn't want to forget it. Lethal League Blaze, that is! Don't forget about Lethal League Blaze, okay? Wait, hang on. They're making a new game. Let's fucking go! Let's fucking go! Welcome to the end screen. I'm practically out of breath and losing my voice after this video, but I gotta give the big thank yous to Nillanol, Slip, and all my other lovely patrons scrolling by in the credits. Look at them go. You could be there too. I'm gonna go take a nap now.